Hey fellas, how y'all doing? Y'all doing all right? Trying to get that set up for y'all. Hey, I wanted to come on, chat with y'all a little bit, and we can visit a little bit and talk about a few things. As we know, we've talked about a lot of these cases. You know, we did. There's just so many out there, right? That are missing, unfound, mysteries deep and everywhere. But I want to spend a few minutes right now, just a few minutes. Not going to take very long, but I want to discuss some things in Sebastian Rogers' disappearance. Goes back to what Katie Proudfoot said early on. I don't know why he walked out that door, right? We know she's since flipped to that. Now when asked what happened, she beats around the bush and gives this long, drawn out, not even answer, right? Saying all these things that she runs it through her head over and over again and all these things, right? But what have they really, truly shown us that they have supported Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers in any way? What have they done to show they want this child home? What have they done to plead and beg for this child to come home? His safety, his whereabouts, his concerns. Is he cold? Is he hungry? Is he tired? Is he being held against his will? You know, like she said, did someone pick him up voluntarily? Like, did he go with someone willingly? Did he not, right? Why is she saying all these things? Why doesn't she stay with, don't know why he walked out that door on a very, very, very dark night? That you never explained to us why it was so dark that night or how you knew it was so dark that night. But the more we dig in this case, the less we find as far as actual facts. All we really have to go by is their language. And the mystery of Sebastian Rogers' disappearance is mind-boggling to so many. We want answers. We don't know why this, why there's been no arrests, why these things have, we really need to face reality, in other words. That there's no trace evidence that he left that home willingly. There's no trace evidence of scent anywhere in that yard, by the front door, by the trash can, anywhere other than in that home. There's been no scent trails, no nothing. There's no video footage. There's no nothing, guys. And I think, we got caught up in them making us think they had something, right? But when we really go back and look at the overall picture, what does it tell us? We have nothing. We have speculation. We have the lies that the parents have told. We have the CPS reports on the stepfather. We have all those things. But what do we really have that's factual? Besides one piece of something, the Tinkerbell Light video. I think it's time to face reality. That's all we got. And I think that's all they got. Other than tips. I think they got a lot of tips that they don't know whether they're correct or not correct. I wonder what the tip lines, we know they've got lots of tips. So has anything led them down a road besides a rabbit hole? Right? I think when we really face reality, this is Summerwell's case. And I think the Stephanie Darwin case is going to be the same way. Go back and look at all the CPS cases of children that have vanished or gone missing. A lot of them, I'm sorry to say, are not solved. I mean, look at Monkey Vaughn. They have somebody pretty much saying under oath pretty much, or in an interrogation of what happened to this child, and there's still no arrest. Harmony Montgomery. They have the father. They know he's guilty. Still don't have her. CPS. Continues to go. Now, Monkey Vaughn, no, was not CPS that I'm aware of. I think It was more or less he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and the predator was lurking, right? Which was named Stacy Wanderer, I believe, in that case. And that's just my opinion, though. But let's just throw out the disclaimer out here, right? Allegedly, these are my opinions, my thoughts, my theories, my speculation, my free speech of what I think could have possibly happened on February 25th, 2024. The last time Sebastian Rogers was seen on camera, period. Because we haven't seen the photo she took that night. So all we can go by is that Roadhouse clip, right? That's all we have to go by, other than the Tinkerbell light, which you can't see anything that we can see. We don't know what they fixed and what they can see, but what we've seen. So if we really break this whole thing down, we could talk about it every single day, right? Which is good to spread awareness, keep his face out there. But what are facts? What can we really say, okay, this leads us down a path of truth for this young man? Not much, right? Where is Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers? That's the question. What happened to him on the 25th of February, 2024? Don't know. But for those of y'all that have not been up with this case, which I think most people have, but Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers was a 15-year-old at the time of his vanishing. Lived in Hendersonville, Tennessee, about 9 miles outside of a little town, pretty much in a rural area, with not a lot of cameras, only in the neighborhood, not a lot of street cameras, things of this nature, right? He had autism. I think it was the 627 chromosome. Don't quote me, but something like that. And his favorite color was green. He's a gamer. He loves to play Minecraft. He loves to play Call of Duty with his father. He loves to go fishing. He loves to do some things outside, but he's terrified of fire ants and bugs and doesn't want to go outside without shoes and socks. So we really need to think about that. Because, children on the spectrum, to them, when they have those things in their head, that's what they do. And they're not going to change that for no one. So we have to really look at this as, hey, he did not like to go outside without shoes. So, that being true, we know now, hold on, guys. I'll grab a log, because I know I didn't put a lot on here tonight, and I didn't know how long I was going to be. But finally got no wind, no nothing. It's calm night. But anyway, Sebastian loved to giggle. He captured America's hearts. His big smile, no matter what he was going through in life, he always had a smile on his face that we see. Now, we didn't see the other side that he was enduring in that home with the CPS reports and all these other things that have been proven, right? We don't know exactly how many. We know there's quite a few. We know that the stepfather always dodges that question, doesn't want to answer that question. We don't know if he took polygraph or did or didn't. We don't really know that for a fact. Supposedly the mother did, but we don't know that for a fact, only of what she says. And how much do we trust what they say? I don't think a lot of people trust anything they say. So I feel now they spoke around the year anniversary and of their son's disappearance and stepson's disappearance. So if we look at this side, where he vanished from, that's the side we look at, because that's where he was last seen, was with that mother. So what happened? Was it some kind of altercation? Was it some kind of argument? She said one thing that I caught, that he had went to his room to play, and then I told him to knock off what he was doing and go to bed. Okay, was there something there, right? I don't know. I don't think it led to that part. My theory on this case is that he never made it home from the Roadhouse. Or if he did, then we know he never walked out of that home on his own, especially not barefooted, because there was no dog trail. And we can go back and look at all these other cases, even Summer Wells. Let's throw Summer Wells out. At least there was a scent. There's nothing here. So going by some of the things that were said, right, we need to look at these little highlighted things of, it's going to be studied for years, right? How did he do this? Stepfather also said in the beginning to the bio dad, Seth Rogers, what are you going to do if basically it goes south? Basically what he was saying was, what are you going to do if he's not alive? That's what he was saying. And why make that comment in the very beginning? This is his mind just slipping, right? And we know the mother slipped a whole lot. And that's why she doesn't talk a lot, because she's scared she's going to tell the truth, I think. And in my opinion. And she could be. I don't know. She could be telling the truth. We don't know. All I know is that she changed from drilling in everyone's head, she doesn't know why he walked out of the door, to now not knowing. I don't know. That's what she said. Now she's learning that, I'm just going to say I don't know, because I think that's what she may have told law enforcement in the very beginning, that she didn't know. We know now they're not communicating with all these multi-agencies that they were patting on the back in the beginning, right? They were lined up down the road. They were this, that, and the other, local, federal, state, FBI, like everybody, right? And we know, according to his words the other day, that they don't really have a good relationship with them. And I think that's because they lawyered up early. Because I think he was already lawyered up because of the face thing with his bio daughter. But down deep, what I think about a lot is, he's tried a lot to get his daughter, right? He's failed every time. Every time they've tried to go against their exes to get them out of the picture, they've lost. And clearly, why didn't they show up to this candlelight, right? Why haven't they showed up to any of them? When the neighbors were trying to rally around this family and pull everybody together in that little neighborhood and get everybody to circle up and pray for this young man in the beginning of this, in the first week, they sent family members. That means that to me, I think that was a lawyer saying, stay out of everything, right? I think so. But I don't know. I could be wrong. But everything they've done has not been what normal parents, what we consider normal parents would do. And when we really think about the overall picture of little Sebastian, capturing America's hearts, and I can only think about some of these main points, right? The points of that her saying that was such a dark night, it really stuck in my head. One of the main things also that stuck in my head was her leaving that morning, when she knew his shoes were there, his backpack was there. All these, he had never done this before. Remember, she said he's never loped, he's never ran, he's never wandered. Okay, if you're painting this picture of Sebastian to us, that he has never done any of these things, why all of a sudden, which I've always said, because supposedly Step Bear wasn't there. Okay, so if Christopher Proudfoot was not there, stepfather, there's no need for him to leave. There's no need for him to run. Evidently, which we might not ever be able to prove this, but say that I know he's saying he wasn't mandated, but we don't believe what he says. So say he was mandated, then that would explain why he can't be there. Or else it would be red flags everywhere. So him pushing that he wasn't there, even though Wi-Fi and some other things, I think, put him in that area, maybe, possibly. I don't know if it's 25th, 26th. I don't know exactly what day those Wi-Fis were. Law enforcement knows, but we don't know. If he was not supposed to be in that area because of that, then I would understand. But if not, there's no need for him to be defending himself over, this is his home. So if he wasn't mandated, he could have said to me, hey, I was at home, I left at 7 p.m., whatever, right? You don't have to say you're gone since 1st February and you haven't seen this child, because when he really said that last time, he really slipped, because he said, I left in early February, is the last time I saw Sebastian until the 26th February. So what he was saying was he saw this child on 26th February. That's what he pretty much came out of his mouth. And I know he's saying we're going to twist him. Well, no, that's what social media does. And we want to find out the truth so bad that sometimes we go a little over above and beyond, right? We do. Sometimes we say things we might not say. Sometimes we don't look at the overall picture because we can't, because we didn't live in their shoes, right? But what we can do is go by all these positive things being said on one side of the coin, and then what started out to be positive on the other side of the coin was Seth Rogers was his biggest cheerleader. You know, he's the one with all the videos of tug of wars and walking across the stage that has, I guess, middle school graduation. He has all these things. They're not producing all these things. Seth is producing all these things. So if it wasn't for Seth, what would we really have? A bunch of old photos of Sebastian Rogers and nothing else. That's what we would have. And you know, another thing that we wouldn't have parents out here fighting for this child. And this case would never be where it is right now. So I look at it as, because of BioDad, is the only reason the awareness for this child is being spread so far and so wide. Why is the other side not? We have to look at that. Are they shy people? No, we know they're not shy because they get on social media a lot. Well, at least he does, and he pretends he's this, that, and the other, and says this, that, and the other. And so he is a big social media presence person. Now, mommy, no. She's too worried about being silent. She is acting basically with what a lawyer would want her to act with. Keep your mouth shut, don't say anything, let law enforcement do their job. That's what she's conveying into me. On the other hand, she can't control him, right, her husband. So now he's kind of cut back on that, but overall picture of them going with this video that they're going with now that shows absolutely nothing but a man walking his dog that's been vetted and debunked, or whatever you want to call it. What is the reasoning behind this? What are they? I try to look for reasoning. Why would they be pushing this video? And what I've gone back to, I've said a few times before, is they've been pushing that construction site for some reason. And this house was right there at the construction site, pretty much. So is this trying to go with what they're pushing, right? They've always pushed the construction site. We know now that their PI or their investigator has been pushing that he thinks that he could have been buried in that area of the construction site, right? He could have fell down into a hole and got covered up, or he was in a hole hiding and got covered up. I don't think that would be the case. I think that they would have heard him, or he would have said something, as paranoid as he would have been. Plus, I don't think he would have been sitting there in the cold like that. Especially not with no shoes, no socks, with all that dirt around, knowing there's bugs and ants probably. I don't think he would have sat there. But that's the narrative they're pushing. Everything they have pushed from dog sense is leading to that way. Either it's the retention pond or the construction site. Those are the two zones that they have zoned in on. And everything they have tried to push goes to those two locations. And this video being in that vicinity of the construction site. So what does that tell us, right? What does it tell us? Tells us one or two things. Either that child is somewhere in that area and they put him there, or they're just trying to take their narrative and push it that way so we don't look at the Tinkerbell Light video. They want to push us to that zone to keep us away from the zone out the back door, which is the Tinkerbell video. Because we know that video plays a role somehow within this case, most likely, because the coincidence of it being something totally different would be very random on a Sunday night or Monday morning at 3+ in the morning. So where does that leave us? That leaves us with waiting, guys. waiting until law enforcement will either A, give us everything they got and let us work it, or they got nothing but the Tinkerbell Light video. You know, you keep hearing, listen to these news people, even the other day, the news lady, hey, there's no sign of this child on video. Okay. So if we believe these things, now it could be that they were telling her this, and so she went with what they were saying, or it could mean that she has verified this through like Nick Barris and them, right? The only thing out there, according to any of these people that are local on the ground, is the Tinkerbell Light video. Now, there's a mountain of other evidence stacked behind them, like CPS, like all these other things, abuse, and, you know, these are all stacked to the left side. But they're not acting on any of those. Why is CPS why have they not pushed for an arrest? Why? I don't know why. Is it because maybe they are military personnel and they don't want to stir up a whole bunch of stuff, right? I don't know. I don't know if that's what it is. Maybe there's no telling, guys. There's really no telling. What we can gather from this is Sebastian Wayne Jake Rogers is still missing. And he's out there somewhere, but where? You know, a year's passing time, he could be in freaking Korea by now, right? We don't know. But I have been kind of switching to a little bit, it's been pushing me towards California. Because they were there a long time and they have a lot of, I'm sure, connections in California. And it's so overpopulated with people that they could have easily hid this child in California and probably would never be found over there, right? And I'm still wondering if this child is going to turn up either at a gas station, somewhere that doesn't have surveillance. And that's why I go with make an arrest for something and see if he gets let go. Because if you really down deep think about it, if these two were to go down and somebody would be harboring this child for them that's being paid, what's the first thing they're going to do? Think they're going to get ratted on and they're going to let this kid go, in my opinion. But then again, it might not. It could be the total opposite of that, which is how they may be thinking. But if they had something to justify an arrest, I think it would have been done. I think now that we've got past the full year and it's still, the clock, you know, it doesn't stop. It's still ticking every day. I feel that whatever they're holding close, may it be the Tinkerbell lights, and they may have more, but I look at it two ways, right? Either after that light video leaked and they got upset about it, either one, they held things even tighter and they're never going to let it go until something happens, or that's really all they got. But a light video doesn't explain to me. Now, what's seen in it in their eyes, I don't know. But something led them to the landfill. And we really have to think about that, because it's not easy to get a search warrant for a landfill. It's really not, guys. And so, what led them there so fast? And I know they're saying precautionary, but that's BS. You're not going to go to a judge and say, oh, just to run it down as a hunch, I want to check it. No, it don't work that way. They had to provide something. And I don't know what that something may be, but something led them there. Something made Sonny make that comment afterwards, saying he was disappointed in the outcome. Something, that's what I'm saying, something right there is solid. That landfill search was solid for a reason. What it is, we don't know yet, but hopefully, pray to God, one day we will know. But then again, we might be sitting here in 2026 still continuing to talk about this. hopefully and pray to God we're not, but it is a possibility. Did we think in the Summer's Well case that we were going to be talking about it year after year after year after year after year after year? No. We were the same way in the beginning of Summer Wells. Oh my God, we got to get answers, got to get answers. They must have something. They must have something. Arrests are coming. That's the same things. And then it led us down a dead-end road. And it's still a dead-end road. And that's why, of course, we want to gear up and search this June for Little Summer Wells, so then we can get a better understanding of, hey, this area, as long as those areas are all cleared around there, then, it's possible that something else might have happened to Summer. But I just feel that Summer's in that area. Just like I feel that Sebastian is probably somewhere either, it's going to be outside of a zone, right? I look at it as he's not going to be on the way from Hendersonville to Memphis, because they knew that would be the first place everybody would look. So it's either going to be the opposite direction, or he crossed over into Mississippi, right? He crossed over that border and went a little further that way to the river, Mississippi River, right? And you got to remember, they're Navy. Water to them is, they understand a lot about water, how tides work, how currents work, how all these things work. And so that's why I always looked at so many bodies of water around that area. And being that autistic children are always to water, even though Sebastian could swim like a fish, and they clearly said that. So on his own, doesn't matter if he could swim like a fish. If he would have got out of that home on his own and got in that freezing cold water, hypothermia would have set in seconds, like 30, 40 seconds. It'd have been just like Riley Strand, supposedly, right? Which I've always thought that case was a little wishy-washy anyway. But, little Sebastian Rogers deserves to be found, just like all of them. Who holds the truth? I don't know. The mom's looking at the heavens in the last video, saying, if he could hear me. Some of the things she said in those clips really blew my mind. Some of the things that stepdad said in there really, which he didn't talk very much. He was really silent. He looked like he had a lot of fear. He looked like he was so physically worn out and exhausted from trying to battle this thing and try to contain this thing and maintain their innocence, and they're vetted and they're cleared, and this new video is going to lead to answers, and they're working so tirelessly to try to disprove everything that law enforcement is trying to prove. That's what I see. So it's time to step back and really look at the overall picture, I think, of this, and be patient, I guess, right? Continue to push, continue to spread awareness, but try to look at a different avenue. Maybe go back again and watch all these, which I've watched them so many times. But, every time I watch them, I learn something new. So maybe I'm not doing something right. Maybe I'm not seeing something or hearing it the same way that they're putting it out. I don't know. But it goes for all of us. We're all digging for answers. We just can't find them. And so maybe it's time. I have reached out to a few Navy people that I know to try to see if there's something that I'm missing, something that I'm not understanding. I'm taking little clips from videos that I feel have some meaning to them, and sending them out to these people to say, hey, look at these few clips, 10 or 12 different clips, and see if you paint a picture, right? I'm trying to get some other people's opinions. And because, we all have our opinions, and we all feel that, to me, the last person that sees the child is usually the one responsible, or at least knows the answers. So allegedly, she should know the answers, right? And of course, I know that's just my alleged opinion, but not to reflect the channel, y'all's comments, y'all's alone, not to reflect the channel, right? We do our research together because we are a big-hearted little family. And there's always trigger warnings in these cases, times 100 million, 200 million, whatever you want to call it. But Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers deserves justice. And so all we can do is continue to spread awareness, spread his little face out there, pray for answers, pray to God for truth. Hopefully something comes out. So I'm going to leave y'all on that note tonight. You know, little Sebastian is always in our hearts and always in our prayers. We need something to go by, something new to go by. They need to release something, some tips, something that they have. Let us dig on them, right? Hopefully that'll happen, or hopefully a rest will come. I don't know. At this point, I'm starting to shy away from that, and I know I don't want to because my heart still feels that justice will be. But part of me starting to wonder: do they really not have hardly nothing? And if that's the case, that's sad, because that means that we might be doing this in 5 years. And I don't want that. I think we all wanted justice for Sebastian. And we hear other law enforcement and retired law enforcement say, yes, arrests are going to be, justice will be. They're not going to let this be summer. But it's still going down that path right now. It sure is looking like that. Right? We've searched our tail off, and not as much as a lot of people, but I've searched so many areas that I thought would reveal something, and it's nothing. And I know we could have missed something. I know it's possible. But, God, once the warmer months come, it'll be a lot easier to search there. And once the shade is out and the sun is out and it's warm and it's a lot. But it's still going to be a year later, over a year later. So the first 72 hours, the first month or 2 months is very critical to finding someone. Because after that, it's just pretty much, if he's not alive out there, then it just remains. And that could be in the shallowest grave and you walk right over it. That's the sad part. And when hunters didn't find anything, or, everybody thought the hunters and stuff this year, I know they rely on that a lot because they do discover a lot of remains, but nothing, absolutely nothing. So where is this child? Is he put up? I don't know. I think he would have got loose by now. Somehow, some way, that feisty little thing would have got loose, right? And ran for the hills. And we know as fast as this little kid is, supposedly, according to Daddy, they're not going to catch him once it gets out, right? If he's on foot. But I don't know, guys. Let's keep our prayers up, right? For Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. And keep spreading his name. Keep spreading his face. Keep pushing awareness. Keep digging. It's all we can do. But, until the next one, guys. We love y'all, guys. We'll talk on the next one. Y'all be good. Y'all be safe. All right, guys. We'll talk soon. Prayers always for the missing and the runaways. They run for a reason. And I pray in this case something's coming. And I don't know, I felt like over the holidays would have been the perfect time for something to come if they had something. But now the further it drags on, like they're just giving us enough updates every now and then to keep us focused on the case. I get what they're doing, but they need to let something go. I suppose they had some big news coming in. We still haven't seen that news. So, I don't know. I have no idea, guys. But anyway, y'all be good. Y'all be safe. We love y'all, guys. We'll talk on the next one. All right, guys. Justice always. All right, bye.